The opinions expressed on the Kanika Sports Show are those of Ken and Nika and should not be taken personally by any players, managers, coaches, teams, umpires, or journalists who fall victim to their critiques and or criticisms. They promise they didn't mean to hurt your feelings and suggest you stop being so soft and just do your jobs better. Thank you for your cooperation.
Well, it was the Midsummer Classic, as they call it, the All-Star Game, but it had a new wrinkle this year, Nika, because we had a tie game after 9 innings in the All-Star Game for the first time since the new collective bargaining agreement added some stipulations that if the All-Star Game is tied after 9 innings, it would head to a swing-off, which I guess I just didn't know that this was a rule now. Because
what's a swing off?
It has to happen before it becomes a thing.
Okay, what's a swing off?
A swing off is when at the end of the game you take 3 hitters from one team and they all get 3 swings, I guess, or 3 strikes to hit home runs.
Oh, so you choose 3 players?
3 players
from both teams?
and 3 swings. And they get to put 3 swings on the ball. And at the end of it, you tally up the total amount of home runs, and whoever has more wins the game.
Oh, okay. So it's like a mini home run derby.
It's a mini home run derby. It's kind of like the equivalent of maybe a shootout in the NHL or something along those lines.
Well,
I guess
okay.
it would be like deciding an NBA game with a dunk contest or something, maybe.
Well,
which
it's
they might want to consider. Who knows? I saw some long overtime games this year. But this is fun, right? Like, I mean, the reason for the rule is pretty simple. No one wants the All-Star Game to go on longer than it has to anymore. Like, with injury risks and pitching rotations needing to be set and just the risk of injury for pitchers these days seems so high. I can totally understand and respect the fact that, like, no one wants this to go longer than 9 innings as it is. And also, no one wants to leave with the game tied. So they had to figure out some way to settle this. And I'm just wondering, as we get into this, if they might have secretly discovered something that could make baseball really interesting again.
at the end.
At the end. If you remember, one of the most controversial things that's happened in baseball, out of all the rule changes, I think you still see it more and more to this day than any of the rule changes. The pitch clock, instant replay, all this stuff. The one that sticks out to people is having the phantom runner put on second base to start extra innings, because it's like you didn't earn your way on there, and now just one hit gives you a run. I mean, it could be 0-0, and all of a sudden, like, one hit just changes the dynamic of a really close game like that.
Okay, but that's by design. So
Yeah, but if you just get that one hit, then you just have a runner on first, and it's not like you have a runner on first and you have a run scored.
It's just to end game quickly, I guess.
I know it bothers purists and people out there, and yet, like, I think in 2025, most people have moved on from, like, wanting to have a baseball game go into the wee hours of the middle of the night just because, you know?
Yeah.
We don't need a 24-inning game randomly in June or in August or whatever. We don't need it. These guys need to get sleep, you know? They need to perform at a high level every single day.
Yes.
And I would rather lose the magic of extra inning baseball and then have to deal with these players coming in the next day feeling like crap and then spending a whole week on the road in hotels trying to get caught up on sleep.
And on top of it, all the games that they do play, they matter because for the stats.
Yeah. And respect to the people that came before them and did do some of the things that I just mentioned. But again, this goes against common sense now. This goes against what we know to be part of living even just a healthy life. Get some sleep, please. Anyways, so having said that, did MLB accidentally discover some thing that's going to become a thing in baseball? Let's get into this. I want to get into this because there's some really interesting quotes in this article, and this is, of course, our one of our favorite commentators in all of Major League Baseball, Mr. Bob Nightingale, and USA Today columnist, editorialist. He says MLB takes a page out of the Savannah Bananas playbook with home run swing off finish. So apparently this is something that the Savannah Bananas do. I was unaware. Kyle Schwarber heroic in MLB All-Star Game tiebreaker to secure win for National League. And that is the sub-headline underneath that video that I was playing in the background. And you can kind of see Kyle over there on the right-hand side of the frame, half of him at least. But they are all celebrating with him. He was the MVP because of this. In Atlanta, it was an all-star game like we've never seen before, leaving fans cheering, players celebrating, and traditionalists screaming. Oh, bring it on. Bring it on. Gone forever are the days of Pete Rose crashing into Ray Fosse at home plate at the All-Star game. Major League Baseball took a page out of the Savannah Bananas' playbook, deciding an All-Star game with a mini-sized home run derby. When the All-Star game ended July 15th, there were only 6 players on the field playing home run derby, or technically called a swing-off, with the National League prevailing 7-6 based on the NL out-homering the American League 4-3. The swing-off was quietly put in the last collective bargaining agreement, declaring any All-Star game that was tied after 9 innings would be decided by a 3-on-3 home run derby. Again, I think when you have all these new rules being put in during collective bargaining agreements, pitch clocks, things like that, this is interesting, right? That things like this get overlooked. We just talked about this with one of the rules about when you're allowed to use a position player as a pitcher. Like, that rule change got overshadowed because the pitch clock had come into effect the same year, along with the I don't remember. There was the bases were getting size
the
increase.
bases got bigger.
So
yes.
both of those things happened at the same time, as they also made this change about when position players are allowed to pitch. And so the rules behind that got overlooked. This is, I think, the same thing. There was other rules happening, and all of a sudden this rule gets overlooked. And that's what I meant earlier by it only becomes a thing until it's a thing, right? Because it actually became a thing this year, and now we're all talking about it. All right. Well, moving on. The game ended when Tampa Bay Rays infielder Jonathan Aranda's fly ball landed harmlessly in the outfield, with the scattered few players who remained celebrating into the night, immediately embracing the concept, with traditionalists wondering what has happened to this grand old game. Probably, San Francisco Giants starter Logan Webb said when asked whether there would be a public outcry from baseball traditionalists, quote, "But at the end of the day, who cares? We had a blast watching it. All the guys that are still here, and I think the fans enjoyed it. I got a group text here from a bunch of players around the league, and they seemed to really like it too. I think it was an awesome way to end." And yeah, I just have to say, I agree completely, 100%. This was fresh. This felt like the freshness that we needed, not the phantom runner on 10th in the 10th inning. You know, they tried to speed up the game, and they missed this, like, how do we make the MLB equivalent of a shootout? Well,
This is it.
they got a second chance at it here with this All-Star game thing. And I think when they do the next collective bargaining agreement, which is just like one more year away after the 2026 season, they should try and get this to replace the current 10th inning rules.
Could they bring it sooner than the next collective bargaining? I mean, if they want to implement ABS,
I'm going to say right now, it's got a low chance,
Okay.
I think, of happening.
All right.
I do. I think because of it, this might change the way your rosters are managed, and like how many pitchers you need to carry on your roster and things of that nature.
Okay.
You can have the batting practice coach go out there and throw a home run derby. It doesn't need to be a pitcher on the other team pitching, you know, so because that would never work. I mean, the percentage of chance that guys even hit home runs in that situation is so low.
They might bring in Carl Riley's dad.
He's pretty good
Pretty
at it.
good at it, yeah.
As well as his brother. They I think they split duties, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know that for sure. All right, well, let's hear from Pete Alonso. Said New York's Mets first baseman Pete Alonso, quote, "I just thought it was awesome. I mean, everyone was super, super into it. I think people really thoroughly enjoyed the show." And Pete Alonso was one of the participants.
I was just going to ask.
Of course, you know, he trains for this stuff.
Sure.
Makes me wonder why he didn't do the actual home run derby this year itself, but it was good to see him back in his rightful place here as one of the final 3 chosen by the NL. Really, it was impossible to find a player who was angry that the outcome was decided on a gimmick. No one wants a repeat of that 15-inning All-Star game in Anaheim in 1967, And no one wanted to see another tie like the 2002 All-Star Game in Milwaukee. I referred to that earlier, I believe. But anyways, yeah, I agree. Nobody wants an All-Star Game to go into the wee hours of the night. You know, kids are watching this. Parents are going to get stressed out if their kids are up till 11 or 12 at night just because a game is tied and, for the glory of the game. Like, look, I know it's only one day and people will make excuses for it, but it's not worth it.
It's 2025.
It's never worth it to lose sleep.
You got to move on.
You can tape it and watch it in the morning.
Exactly. The appointment TV thing is gone.
It is gone. And, you know, but the more exciting thing is, I think, to just have an end, like, and send the kid to bed either happy or sad or
whatever. But it's fun to see it the way it has been done right now.
This was fun. This was totally fun. And I'm with Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
And I'm with everyone else so far. I'm with
Webb.
And I'm with Pete Alonso. Let's hear from some more.
Sure,
these games are historic All-Star games, but they're just exhibitions also. Oh, yeah, they don't count for anything. And as we see from all the players that get replaced because they pitched on Sunday or Saturday or whatever, like, I mean, the real games matter more. So no one's mistaking the fact that this game means anything. Pretty exciting, AL manager Aaron Boone said, quote, "There's probably a world where you could see that in the future, where maybe it's in some regular season mix. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people start talking about it like that. And don't be surprised. I'm already talking about it like that. I think that they should put this in place of the 10th inning phantom runner. Like, I don't know a lot of baseball traditionalists that like that.
Well, are they going to dislike this situation?
They might, but I can make a better argument for it
Okay.
at least and be like, look, no one's ERA is going up over this. You know, no one's going to
That's
have
true.
to suffer any more.
Okay.
Pitchers are going
But
to
do
stay
the home
fresh.
runs count as a home run?
They should not.
Okay.
They should not. It's just
To end
just
the
like the
game.
shootout goals in the NHL shouldn't count as a goal scored for Patrick Kane or Jonathan Taves or whoever's making it. And yes, sorry, I'm a Blackhawks fan and we haven't had a lot to cheer about lately. All right, Connor Bedard. There you go. Maybe he can score one or two or 50 or 60. All right. Well, I'm just saying, for the sake of making an argument, those goals don't count. These home runs wouldn't count like on Ohtani's stats at the end of the year. Well, he hit 15 home runs in tie games, so that makes 82. New record.
You don't know.
Yeah, you forget that they might move the goalposts for the golden child. Ah, just kidding, Ohtani. We love you. Anyways, really, a swing off in regular season games that are tied after 9 innings? You mean games that actually count? That's Bob Nightingale interjecting, by the way. But then the quote continues, quote, "Obviously, I don't think that should happen necessarily or would at any time in the near future," Boone says. Why not, Aaron? Why not? You just admitted that this was pretty exciting, and yet you're gun shy about pulling the trigger, about making the game more exciting, maybe night to night to night.
Maybe he's got a lot of traditionists at the Yankees fandom.
I'm sure he does. I mean, they just started allowing facial hair.
See? It takes a long time.
Quote, "But I've got to say, you know, it was pretty exciting. Like, all of a sudden, here we go. And the camaraderie that you kind of build these last couple of days with the team, I think went into overdrive there. Like, guys were excited out there." Quote, "It's like wiffle ball in the backyard. Here we go. Let's do it." Yeah. Like, I don't know. This might not ever happen again for 50 years with an All-Star game tied for, you know, and so I would hate for something like that to happen and we never see this again. And it's just some stupid gimmick in the All-Star game when it's an actual great gimmick to maybe put into the game, going forward. So I don't know. I wish people wouldn't think about the traditionalists so much and think about the excitement factor that something like this could bring into the game. And you could have people staying up. Like, if a game is tied in the 8th inning, it's like, oh, I want to see the home run off.
The best way to go about it is start emailing Bob Manfred because he hates emails from Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Bob.
We know what you meant, but yes, you are correct. Just to reiterate, the best way to make changes apparently in Major League Baseball is to email Rob Manfred, because the reason we had ABS in the All-Star game yesterday was because Rob Manfred was sick of the emails he's been getting about bad umpiring strike zone calls. So
if you want this implemented, start emailing.
The article continues. There weren't any players rushing to lobby Commissioner Rob Manfred for a swing-off rule in games that count. But when asked if they could see it arriving one day in the future, why not? There weren't pitch clocks, enlarged bases, ghost runners on second base, and shift limits a few years ago either. Yeah, I mean, the game kind of continues to evolve, and at a time when I think we're looking at getting games wrapped up efficiently, fairly, and with some level of excitement, like this is a way to do it. Quote, I can totally see that, Miami Marlins outfielder Kyle Stowers told USA Today Sports. Quote, we talked about pitching injuries or the length of games, and honestly, the runner on second base really helped in extra innings. Can you imagine if it happened in the postseason? I guess that would make it very unique. Now, look, I want to call a timeout here really quick. This rule should not apply to the postseason, nor should the phantom runner. That is the one place where you should keep it traditional. And if a game goes into the wee hours of the night, then so damn be it.
It's playoffs.
That's playoff baseball. That's the way that always needs to work. And I will be the old man saying no until I'm in my 80s or 90s or whatever. But that is not, nobody should be saying that this applies to the playoffs. This is a regular season thing only.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to make that clear. Quote, but it's like penalty kicks in soccer. Hockey has their form of it, a shootout or whatever it is. So I don't think it's ridiculous to say that it couldn't be part of the game. Yeah, soccer, hockey, basketball can take a nugget. The football used to just do drives from the 20-yard line and instead of overtime, you just give the team the ball and they get 4 plays to score from the 20. And if they can do it, they win. If that,
move on to the next side.
Well, maybe one day it will happen, Arizona Diamondbacks third baseman Eugenio Suarez said. But they may all be retired by the time they see it. Please don't wait that long. I don't know. But for an All-Star game, well, bring in the new tradition. Again, it's only a tradition if they end the game tied. How often does that happen?
Not a lot.
We just saw 2002. The Brewers in Milwaukee, it was tied. We saw 1967. They played extra innings for 15 innings. So, but look, how often has the All-Star game been tied in 95 years? It started in 1930. This could not happen again for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years. And I would be sad. I would be gone before it happened again. Mathematically, statistically, most likely speaking. All right. Quote, I think it's a good idea, said Philadelphia Phillies DH Kyle Schwarber. Finally a man of reason in this whole damn article. Someone that's willing to stand behind their stances. He won the All-Star Game MVP honors for hitting 3 home runs in his... Oh, I understand now, Nika. He won the MVP from this performance. Pretty damn impressive, by the way, going 3 for 3 in the swing-off to kind of propel the National League to victory in this whole situation.
Kyle wanted to get home.
Yeah. He wanted to get home and have a couple days with the fam. Quote, just for the fact that we're not putting more people at any other kind of risk. We're not playing more innings, things like that. Honestly, there's not a lot of risk for these major leaguers to just go up there and take batting practice. As long as they're stretched out, and they should be at the 10th inning time of the game, then yeah. All right, the swing-off occurred only because the National League blew a 6-4 lead going into the 9th inning, and with the game tied, the sold-out crowd of 41,702 was unaware of the swing-off featuring 3 hitters from each team. Yeah, again, I was unaware of this. I think, once again, baseball has stepped on their own tail by not promoting the best rule changes that they have, maybe, and maybe they knew that people would be clamoring for this in the regular season. And
maybe. But also, they didn't know the game is going to end in a tie. Maybe that played into the fact that they didn't advertise it. But
that's the beauty of baseball, that so soon after this rule got implemented and changed, just last year before the season started? Now it happens. That's baseball. That's poetry.
That's baseball karma.
Life. It is baseball karma. And the baseball gods are smiling upon us, and they are telling us, they are willing us to do this in baseball, at least in the regular season level. It's exciting. It will be fun. All right. The swing, so were the players. The players didn't know that this was happening either. This what a failure. They don't even know. I bet you if they all knew about this and had some real time, like an off season to process, they would all want it in the regular season. Quote, when they told me what was happening, Stowers said, quote, I thought they were kidding. I never heard of it. I thought it was like one of those hypotheticals you hear about in the minors or something. Yeah,
exactly.
It is. That's what they're gonna do too. They'll be like, well, we gotta test this out in the minor leagues for 5 years before we bring it to the MLB. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Do this now. Bring the shootout to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
No, it was real, with each manager designating a list before the game of 3 hitters and an alternate for the swing off. So at least the managers knew that the rule existed, and they had to declare ahead of time. I like that.
It's their job.
It is, but it's also important to like decide ahead of time and maybe not like,
who's going to be the hitter?
I could maybe see like leaving one guy like open, like a wild card spot. What if you have a guy that's hit like 3 home runs that game or something, and you want him to keep going? Maybe he's feeling it.
So if you have to declare 3 guys at the beginning of the game,
yeah, I mean, and it makes sense.
It makes sense. You put the eggs in one basket and hope for the best.
Each hitter is only allowed 3 swings, which is kind of more reminiscent of the old home run derby where you only got 10 swings per round. NL manager Dave Roberts chose Suarez, Eugenio, Kyle Schwarber, and Pete Alonso, only to switch out Suarez for Stowers after Suarez's hand was throbbing from being hit by a pitch in the 8th inning.
Ouch.
And we also just saw Eugenio Suarez take one on the hand against the White Sox a few weeks ago in a real game that mattered. So I'm sure Torey Lovullo was probably like sweating bullets waiting for the x-rays on that one to come back. Jeez. And they had Corbin Carroll's hand injury. Like, what's up with that? Snakes are on target, huh? Boone chose Brent Rooker of the Athletics, Randy Arozarena of the Seattle Mariners, and the aforementioned Jonathan Aranda. Thank you. So that was from the Tampa Bay Rays, by the way. The first round began with Rooker hitting 2 home runs, with Stowers hitting 1. Arozarena hit 1 homer to give the American League a 3-1 lead until Schwarber clobbered 3 home runs, 428 feet, 461 feet, and 382 feet, respectively, for a 4-3 lead.
I think Kyle was waiting for that moment.
That was all that was needed when Aranda went homerless, and just like that, the wildest ending to an All-Star game was in the books, with Schwarber becoming the first DH to win the MVP award and the first Phillies player since 1964. And, Nika, by the way, if you were to tell me that a National League DH was going to win the MVP before this game started and his name was not going to be Shohei Ohtani, I would have been like, really? But here we are, and congratulations to Kyle Schwarber and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Nice.
When asked how Schwarber will remember the night and where it ranked among his career achievements, he really couldn't say. Really, no one could. Quote, all I know, Suarez said, is that it was historic. We were part of history. It was a great experience. But would I want to see it in regular season games? Well, I don't know about that. Let's leave it like this. I still like baseball tradition, you know?
Well, Kyle is a traditionalist.
Well, and that's Eugenio.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But nevertheless,
either way, the guys are playing baseball. They want to play baseball.
But let's not leave it like this. Like I said, this could never happen again.
It's a politically correct answer.
It is. And I liked Kyle's answer better. and I know it's something that Kyle brings to the game as a DH. You know, Eugenio also plays third base, and he's pretty damn good at it. But, oh, man, I would kill for this in the regular season. I really would. I would love to see this become a permanent fixture, and I think you can find excitement from both camps. You can find excitement from people that were on board with the 10th inning changes with the phantom runner to be like, oh, this is a good alternative to that. And you can find an argument with the baseball traditionalists and be like, at least it's not that anymore. At least it's not the phantom runner on second. Like, we're not gifting guys bases. We're not bulking up pitchers' ERAs because they have to pitch the 10th inning and they have to start with a runner on base for giving up a single. Anyways, just some food for thought. It's like, if there's a better thing, we should go for it.
Yeah.
And we don't need to necessarily wait. We live in a fast world. We live in a world that changes exponentially faster all the time. And here we are dragging our feet with old TV contracts and ESPN deals and blah, blah, blah. You get it. You know what I'm trying to say. It's like half the corporate world is stuck in the 1980s still and wanting to not change how they do business or the way things work. And yet, sometimes the best answers happen by accident.
Of course.
And I think this is one of those things where nobody really thought the All-Star game would end in a tie, like where this would get to be seen maybe this quickly.
Well, we're going to see robots before we're going to see this probably as the umps.
Well, at least the tapping of the cap, because Rob Manfred is sick of people emailing him.
No, there you go. There's your answer. You want this implemented? Start emailing.
All right. Well, that's the call to action, folks. If you want to see this in Major League Baseball, don't like this video. Well, yes, you should like this video so that word gets out. But make sure that people know that they got to email Rob Manfred and let their thoughts be known and be like, hey, Rob, seriously, we want the swing off. We want the home run derby finishes. Forget all that 10th inning phantom runner BS. No good for the game. The purists didn't want it. We can evolve. We could change. Let's get it in baseball. Let's not drag our feet.
Let's get it done.
All right. Email him. Email Rob Manfred and like this video and share it.
Now.
Do it.
Now.
Cheers.
Bye.
Goodbye.